AM, on the app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT Drive.
Get into gear for a new drive home.
To the motorway of sport.
talkSPORT Drive.
Hello, my friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, and here over there, the former Spurs striker. It's Darren Bent.
It's Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
I just said that, all right? Former Spurs striker, Darren Bent.
Yeah, don't forget Arsenal fan, though, yeah? Don't miss that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the people that paid you wages are Spurs. Something. Right, Jingo, do we have a show for you today? We'll discuss Darren's former side, Spurs, losing in the North London derby over the weekend, and ask whether Arsenal are now given for top two. Never mind top four. Rock and roll legend and superstar Noel Gallagher will be joining us as well, live to reflect on Man City's huge win yesterday. Can't wait for that. We'll also bring you up to date with another lively weekend in the EFL and the latest on Middlesbrough's next manager following Chris Wilder's departure. And, of course, we're building up to game night on talkSPORT as Leicester host Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. First, though, we're starting with the Manchester derby and Erik ten Hag's comments on Cristiano Ronaldo. United fans, what are your thoughts and what's the point of having him if he's stuck on the bench? Get involved because we are powered by fans and you are fans, so we need to hear from you. 03717 223344. This is Drive on talkSPORT.
We'll have a bit of that.
How are you, Darren Bent?
Yeah, I was at
What a horrible weekend of football.
How are you?
What a horrible weekend of football.
What a horrible weekend.
Do you know, sometimes when I find out we're only a 2-hour show, sometimes I'm like, oh, but I want that. Now I'm like, oh, can't it be an hour? Do we have to do the show today?
Do you know what, honestly? You don't have to go, we'll get to Arsenal in a bit.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go over the top with the United game. Because, listen, City in that form can do that to anybody. Right, first and foremost. Because it's you, and you, as much as you dish out, I'm absolutely delighted. And every time one of them goals went in, I thought about your face.
Yeah, I was even more happy when I learned Noel Gallagher was coming on the show today. By the way, today, as in the Monday, but yesterday's date, so the 2nd of October, 27 years to the day since What's the Story Morning Glory came out. 1995. How mad's that?
Wow, it's incredible.
That's flown by, isn't it? So we'll probably spend the whole of our time with Noel talking about that and what it meant for Britpop back then. And
how are you feeling?
Shut up.
How are you feeling?
Let me give you some Haaland stats. We're going to talk Man United.
How are you feeling?
Well, how am I feeling? The way I look at it, right, because you've got to look at positives, is they won the first half.
Yeah.
We won the second half.
I've heard that one before.
So it's basically 1-1, right?
That is like...
If you did a league table on halves, we're level on points with City, aren't we? Because they won a half, we won a half, so we're top.
I remember getting beat
Joint top.
7-2 by Chelsea one year.
Yeah.
And we were 5-0 down at half-time. 5-0.
So you drew the second half.
Steve Bruce came in and went, lads, we can't win the game. Just don't lose the second half. We got a 2-2 draw. So we took the positives from that. But when you look at the result, we got slapped. That's the same thing when you look at your lot. We're
going to talk Man City, that side of Manchester with Noel, right?
So good, man.
I just want to give you a couple of stats that make me go, oh my goodness. If Haaland's strike rate carries on by the end of the season in the league, he'll have 76 goals.
It's crazy. Let
me just say that again. If he continues to score at the rate he's scoring, in the league only, he'll have 76. That won't happen, but
I'm telling you now as well, he's got 14 in the league, right? He should have more. Because you look at the times early on, I think they were just figuring out how to play with him. There were a couple of times Foden should have squared the ball to him, and they chose to shoot. They chose the wrong option.
Not yesterday, but earlier on.
No,
yeah,
I'm talking about the very early parts.
I agree, yeah.
So he could have had another easily 4 or 5 goals on top of that.
At 22, he's got 170 goals. Ronaldo at the same age got 50, and Messi got 44. He's got 170.
I mean, listen, if he he's an unbelievable centre forward. But if he gets to their 2 level, because them two are talking about, look at their numbers for out career. You talk about what's Ronaldo nearly 800 goals or past 800.
Yeah,
Messi's up near 700. That's just ridiculous.
It is
silly numbers.
We'll talk the blue side of Manchester with Noel in the second hour. We're going to start off talking Man United. 03717 223344. I want to get your views on what Erik ten Hag said about Cristiano Ronaldo. He said out of respect for his big career, he didn't bring him on. What do you make of that?
In some respects, I kind of get it, because he's probably looking at it like Ronaldo, what he's accomplished in his career. He is one of the greatest we've ever seen. The team's getting battered. And yes, putting him on the pitch, he could potentially get you a couple of goals, because you know what he like. You give him opportunities, he can still finish them off. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's from Ten Hag's point of view, he's thinking, right, I just don't want to put Ronaldo up there and he's just chasing shadows. Because it's not disrespectful against Ronaldo, but I sort of get where he's coming from.
Do you?
With the words that he used, I get it.
You got a goal scorer on the bench.
I get it, but you're 4-0 down, you're not going to win the game. You're not.
What's the point of picking him in the first place?
Well, that's a different question.
No, but if you're picking Ronaldo on the bench, that means he's coming off the bench to get you goals.
Yeah,
right?
if the game's tight, like 1-1, 2-2, or it's in the balance, you throw him on because
Why you bring him off the bench at 3-0?
4-5-0. The game's over. You're not going to win that game.
You think that was the right decision to leave
I'm not saying it's the
scorer?
right decision, but what I'm saying is I can understand some of Ten Hag's wording when he says he doesn't want Ronaldo, because basically what he's saying is I don't want Ronaldo to go around and chase around like a donut. It's basically what he's alluding to. But you think when the game was, if he wasn't going to start him or bring him on, I get it. If the game's out, he's probably think, right, you know what, the game's over. I'm not going to put him on that environment. But it just doesn't look great when you put on Martial, who did come on, by the way. It proved to be the right decision. Came on, scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo's just sitting there. It's just like...
I thought it was strange. Casemiro not starting. Can you understand that? McTominay getting the nod?
I can, but... and again, a couple of things I question is that when Manchester United signed Anthony, now if I can remember rightly, he'd barely trained and he was straight in the team because Ten Hag was like, I know him, I want him. He goes straight in. I just question whether Casemiro was someone who Ten Hag truly wanted, because you're right. You look at Casemiro's resume and what he's done in the game, played at the highest level, one of the biggest of competitions, by the way, and he's still in the biggest game of Manchester United's season so far. He doesn't go in. I just question whether Ten Hag. First of all, was he Ten Hag signing? And secondly, I get it with the legs that McTominay's got, can get about, puts himself about, has done well in this run that Manchester United have been on. But again, that was a question mark where when a lot of people were saying Casemiro, and I went, oh, Manchester United's biggest game of the season, he's not starting. Playing. That made me think, I wonder if Ten Hag does trust him or really wanted him.
Do you want to tell everyone the text you sent me about Anthony? Do you want to tell him?
What about he's not worth 80 million?
Yeah.
And then what happened whap.
I mean, no one's going to talk about that goal because of what happened in the game.
But he looked okay, didn't he? Before that, I wouldn't say he was great, but he did okay.
Yeah.
Great goal.
Should United fans be worried about what they saw yesterday? Or should you just think you're playing a team that's like head and shoulders above everything we've ever seen on the planet for a long, long time?
They are scary good, aren't they? That's the only way you can put it. They just keep the ball.
Because Foden got hat-trick, Haaland got. No one's even talking about Kevin De Bruyne.
No one's even talking about them two, really. Or Haaland, yeah, but Foden, he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I said last week, and I hold my hands up, I said that he won't start for England. If I had to pick a 3 now, it'd be Saka, Kane, and Foden.
But you're not Southgate, and Southgate will pick Saka, Sterling.
He has to get him in the team.
I agree with you.
Even if you're not don't play him wide, play him in midfield.
He won't. He will not play him.
He has to.
He won't play him. He'll play Mount. He'll play Sterling. He'll play Saka. I'm telling you, he will. That's what he does.
Foden has to play. He has to play.
I totally agree.
You're talking about one of the best young players.
Possibly
not even young, by the way, because I know he's relatively young, but I think he could be one of the best players we've ever produced.
I totally agree with you.
He has to play.
I totally agree with you. Even his strike for, what was it, the
third goal.
Where
he just rushed it inside foot.
I mean, that's talent, just hitting the ball like that.
You know what you can see as well? You can quite clearly see that him and Haaland have got that connection now, because Haaland's given 2, didn't he? Yeah. First of all, the one he slid across the box, which was a great pass, and a little feed through someone's legs.
Look, we're talking about Man City.
They're brilliant.
I know they are. But we've got to talk about
if you're a Manchester United fan or even a player, you're disappointed because it's a derby and you've lost to your local rivals. But you understand, from a fan perspective, that they are light years ahead of Manchester United. And what they've got there is a squad of players that everybody, knows exactly what they're supposed to do. They can be got up, by the way, though. They don't look...
We've seen they've been beyond twice, haven't they?
Exactly. They don't look like defensively like rock solid, but they've just got players up the top end of the pitch that can just hurt you like that.
Can't wait to have that chat with Noel Gallagher a bit later on. We'll talk City later on with him. We're talking Man United too. United fans, you can have your say. But picking up the phone and dialing in 0371 722 3344. Loads to cram in. We're only 2 hours tonight. Because, of course, following us at 6 is game night as Leicester take on Nottingham Forest at the King Power Stadium. That one obviously live on talkSPORT. The Sports Bar, of course, will take your calls on the back of it from 10. Anyway, we can cross over now to talkSPORT reporter Jeff Peters, who's outside the ground.
Thank you, chaps. Yeah, we've been talking to fans all day here at the King Power Stadium ahead of this game between the sides who are 19th and 20th in the Premier League. They've only got one Premier League win between them this season. That was what Forest got against West Ham. Leicester started with a draw, 6 successive defeats. Forest have lost their last 4 games, including 3-2 at home to Bournemouth and to Fulham. Leicester have shipped 11 in the last 2 games. And the feeling amongst the Leicester fans that we've spoken to here today is that it pretty much is must-win for Brendan Rodgers. They want to see, particularly in the first 15 minutes of the game, some real attacking endeavour from the Foxes just to give everybody a lift and not some slow tippy-tappy passing the ball around. They want to see the challenges. They want to see the players get stuck in just to try and lift them, because it has been a poor start to the season. Defensively very bad. And if you are coming to the game, Leicester against Forest, do come and find us. We're powered by fans here on talkSPORT. Your views count. Do get involved. This is such a big game for both clubs and both managers. It's Leicester and Forest live on talkSPORT tonight.
Good work as always, Jeff Peters. Danny Simpson joins us as well a bit later on outside the ground. Just one word on it, yes or no? 6 point already?
Yeah, I mean, if Leicester can't beat Forest, they can't beat anyone.
Yeah.
Look, Forest have lost their last 4.
Yeah.
They have to win this game, Leicester.
What were you going to say about someone's text?
No, a couple of things. I was going to ask you quickly first before I read this out.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think De Bruyne would get in the best ever Premier League 11?
Without a doubt.
Do you think people would agree?
I think he's better than
David Silva.
David Silva, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a big statement.
Best ever. You're getting the best ever Premier League 11.
Yeah.
Okay, and someone's put here, if Haaland continues his scoring rate, he will get 66 goals, 66.5 goals, not 76. How is 14 goals in 8 games, 2 goals a game?
Yeah.
That's Alan Finchley.
Ryan worked out at 7, but he's played 8.
Cheers, Al.
I'll tell you why, because they give you a few goals as a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a new Premier League. How many would it be? Just under 70 goals?
It'd be 66.5.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Imagine he gets that.
I wouldn't bet against it.
I wouldn't either.
You could probably get against Southampton. That's who they got next. My goodness, if you're a Southampton player, you don't want to turn up for that one. You no, I mean, what?
First tackle. You not got to give him Emerson Royale that kind of treatment.
Oh, you can't wish that on anyone.
I don't wish it, but
Benty, go down the back of his Achilles.
Well,
you are a disgrace. You footballers are all the same. He doesn't mean that, by the way.
I don't mean that.
We'll talk Manchester United in a moment. Noel Gallagher joins us a bit later on. Talk Manchester City. 03717223344. This is Drive on talkSPORT.
Traffic and travel on talkSPORT with Switzered Van Insurance. We know that your van is important to you, so we'll help you find insurance to keep it properly protected. Switzered Van Insurance.
In Kent, the M20 London bound is still shut after a fuel spillage that closed from Junction 6 at Maidstone along to Aylesford at Junction 5. In Warwickshire, the M6 northbound, the entry slip at Rugby Junction 1, that's still shut for roadworks. Those are ongoing until the 7th of October. And in the West Midlands at Sparkhill, Warwick Road, the A41, that's shut for repairs at the Baker Street turn-off, so do expect delays. I'm Adam Moore.
Tuesday night, Champions League Live.
talkSPORT.
Lovely bit of football. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Spurs.
Coverage from 7. Kick-off 8 p.m.
Tuesday night on talkSPORT.
No one else brings you more.
Oh, and it's a lovely little step over.
Bosh, zoom, zoom, wallop. talkSPORT.
To drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein Darren Bent, alongside a Motorpoint. Discover thousands of nearly new cars and vans at unbeatable prices. I've been listening to the Beastie Boys for the last few days. You like this?
Yes, nice rhythm.
It's a great tune, this one. Just quickly, we'll go back to what we were chatting about in just a moment. Just quickly, Middlesbrough have sacked manager Chris Wilder, with the club sitting 22nd in the Championship. Borough have won only 2 of their 11 league games this season, with Wilder's last match being a 1-0 defeat at bottom club Coventry on Saturday. In the world of boxing, this is interesting. Chris Eubank Sr. is now calling for people to boycott Chris Eubank Jr.'s fight against Conor Benn this weekend. He said in a statement to Spencer Fearon, boycott the fight. You know what £3 beneath the middleweight limit is at 33 years old and what that can do to you. This is how brain injuries occur. And following the 6-3 loss at the Etihad yesterday, Man United manager Erik ten Hag explained his decision to leave Ronaldo on the bench.
I wouldn't bring him in because we are 4-0 down, out of respect for Cristiano, for his big career. And the other thing, there was then the advantage. I could bring Anthony Martial. He needs the minutes.
We'll talk about it in a sec. Just quickly, right? It pains me to say it. I can only apologise. Our phone lines are not working at the moment, all right? We are scrambling around for a shilling to put in the meter, whatever that means. But don't bother wasting your time and calling up. I'll let you know when you can call in. I do apologise. I know we're a phone-in show as well, but nothing I can do about it. One of those things. Don't bother phoning up just yet.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
We're talking about Kevin De Bruyne, weren't we?
Yes.
About him being is he in the greatest ever Premier League 11? He's never won Player of the Month. Work that out. Ever. I'm looking for he's on his ear.
You'll find Marcus Rashford won the last one.
How was a player he's won Manchester City's Player of the Season numerous occasions. He's been Playmaker of the Season. He's been in Team of the Year that often. He's won Goal of the Month. He's been PFA Player of the Year.
He's never won Player of the Month.
And he's never won Player of the Month.
I don't think that matters. Does it matter?
What about?
What was it you were saying? Was it the last game of last season? He scored 4 against
Wolves. He scored 4, didn't he?
Yeah.
But how does he win Player of the Season, but never wins Player of the Month?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Because obviously, Player of the Season is over the whole.
Yeah.
So you would assume that over
Premier League Player of the Season, he's won it twice, and PFA Player of the Year, he's won it twice, and yet he's not won one Player of the Month once.
That is mad. That through ball to Haaland.
Oh, the cross, the kind of cross clip.
It sort of it bent.
Yeah.
When that ball left his foot, right, that pass wasn't even on.
No.
We talk about the goals and we were like, oh, that's a great goal, this is a great goal. But that pass made me go, you've got to be some player to make a football fan sit up and just take a big intake of...
In that kind of right-hand side channel, he's incredible. I can remember, was it against Wolves, the 2 against Wolves where he gave 2 assists there. One was for Jack, who got his tap in. Yeah. But even his cross, do you remember his goal for Villa, Haaland's goal against Villa? He goes down to the byline, he chips one to the back post, goalkeeper can't get there, defender can't get there, and it just drops right on Haaland's foot and he just volleys it in. De Bruyne's quality is scary. Honestly, he is scary.
Yeah, we were having a conversation earlier on about where he would fit in terms of great Premier League midfielders. And then you mentioned Patrick Vieira, but they're different players. Yeah. You'd have to play one alongside the other. The role has changed, the midfield role has changed over. But he's without a doubt in that greatest ever Premier League team, isn't he?
Yeah, but then who'd you leave out? Because mine for so long was, there's always an argument, isn't there? If you say Steven Gerrard, someone will say Frank Lampard. If someone that says Frank Lampard, someone will say Paul Scholes.
I don't think Frank Lampard.
But,
right?
but they were the three, weren't they? Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard. That always people talk about. I would as a Vieira.
Put them in order.
It's hard. It's difficult. Because what do you want? Like, I might say Steven Gerrard, but then a Chelsea fan would say, well, hold on. Lampard scored 170 goals.
You can't argue with that as a midfielder. That's
170
ridiculous.
goals?
That's ridiculous. You'll probably never get that again,
Never.
actually.
You won't ever get that again, but... I mean, to say your all-time Premier League 11, but De Bruyne must be knocking on the door. I think for me, he probably would get in there.
Okay. As I say, Noel Gallagher joins us in the next hour, so we'll talk more City then. I just want to come back to Manchester United. What did you make of the team selection? We talked about Casemiro. We talked about the fact that Ronaldo was left on the bench. But when you look at what United are all about going forward as a sort of an attacking unit with Christian Eriksen in the team, Bruno as well, and then you've got the likes of Anthony on one side and you've got Martial who came on as a sub, you've got Rashford, Sancho as well. The way United look at the moment, if you're a United fan, obviously you sort of dismissed yesterday because things like that happen when you go to the Etihad. But would you be quietly confident of getting top four with that group of players going forward or not?
I think you would, and also you've got to take into account some of the inconsistencies that's going on around the top four at the minute. I mean, Chelsea, we know they won, but still, you'd probably say are still trying to find their feet under Graham Potter. Liverpool, I don't think we're going to get time to talk about them too much today, but...
Well, we can do that. We've got no phone lines. We can do what we want.
They're struggling badly at the minute, Liverpool. Something needs to change there.
Although Brighton were amazing.
Yeah, listen, take nothing away from Brighton.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Everyone will be talking about how poor Liverpool, but Brighton, wow.
But Brighton can do that to you. And Trossard, brilliant. De Zerbi, I'm happy for the manager because a lot of people questioned him as well.
Yeah.
So, but you look at
early days yet because it's still Potter's side. But yeah,
I mean, first game down to Anfield, don't get a point.
Yeah, amazing.
You take that.
Yeah, of course, without doubt.
But yeah, you look at United's team and again, you take the Man City result away. You've got to be quietly confident. Rashford seems like he's getting back to his best, even though I thought he was poor yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't really have an impact. Anthony, another good goal yesterday. Chili's got a goal.
2 and 2, right? 2 and 2. And they're both brilliant. 2
good goals. I think Eriksen's been good. Been good sign if he
wasn't yesterday.
Again, but then who was good yesterday?
No, true, okay.
Even Varane at one stage looked like he wanted to throw the towel in. I think he got into a clash with somebody.
Outside, yeah,
went down. I looked at him and thought, he doesn't look like he
I thought he was going to come off.
Yeah, I don't think
he's not got a great record.
He did come off, didn't he?
Not for that challenge.
No, but lingering like, we know we keep looking at the bench. I've seen players that keep looking at the bench. I
don't want to be a part of this.
It's still hurting.
Yeah.
So
maybe he should have had respect for my big career.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
But no, I think Manchester United, you can't go over the top, overboard. Yeah, they weren't great yesterday. I thought there's some really poor performances from this Manchester United side. But they'd been on a good run before that. But as I said, when Manchester City turn up and play with this intensity and they run forward, they're aggressive in their press, they win the ball back, they've got players that want to get on the end of the crosses. I thought, by the way, another mention, Jack Grealish, thought he was brilliant yesterday.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Thought he was brilliant.
I think Jack Grealish has always been really, really good.
No, but he probably... The standards,
everyone keeps going on about 100 million, but that's nothing to do with him.
No.
We know Jack Grealish is a really, really, really good player.
But you look at his stats and you'd probably go, oh...
I know, but it's what he does. You know, that little dribble and he got the free kick outside. You know, stuff like that.
I get all that, but he probably hasn't been at the level that he'd probably like to have been himself. But
no, but I agree with you. But he's playing in a team where everyone's a superstar.
Is a superstar.
Yeah.
But you look at what he did to Dallo in the first couple of minutes. Wow. Took him to
town.
Card
within
took
3
him
or 4
to town.
minutes.
I thought he played really well. But as I said, throughout all the positives, I know Manchester United got battered, but you got to put that result into isolation because they can do that to anybody. It's about how you react. What do you do next? And Man United haven't got an easy run coming up. You'd have to say you've got a couple of tricky fixtures.
Horrible.
I mean, Everton away, not going to be easy. They've got they're
looking really good under Lampard now. Yeah, I agree with that.
Then you've got Newcastle at home, Tottenham at home, and then Chelsea away. I mean, that is a difficult run of games that you've got coming up. With obviously
you're just trying to cheer me up today, aren't you? After
the
a
Omnia
weekend
in the Europa League.
Yeah, big team, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Usually at this stage, I'd say keep your calls coming in about our phone lines. I'm looking at Ryan. No, don't keep your calls coming in. It's Bentley's fault.
What about if we give out your phone number, personal phone number?
I'd love to. That's a great idea. We'll give out yours as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no
so either mine or Bentley's. Yeah. We're both on 0371. But don't bother phoning yet because the phone lines aren't working. All right, I'll let you know as soon as I know you want to have your say. I apologise, something to do with me. Up next, we will be taking you through this weekend's EFL action with Ian Danner. Lots to talk to him about on Drive on talkSPORT. This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein Darren Bent. A lot of people are suggesting I've sabotaged the phone lines after Man United have got smashed at the Etihad. Nothing to do with me, all right? I mean, if I thought about that, I probably would have done it, but I haven't. But if you text in your phone number, if you text in 1889 saying, I want to talk about Man City or Man United or whatever, and type your phone number on that text, we'll call you back, all right? So that's how we're going to get around that problem, because we can dial out. I don't know what I'm telling you. Just text your number in, we'll call you. Reminder straight after us at 6. We're only on till 6. That's because Adrian Durham brings you live Premier League action on game night as Leicester host Nottingham Forest in the East Midlands derby. You'll get all the action, of course, on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy and Dean Saunders. That's from 10 o'clock tonight. And don't forget, Forest legend Stuart Pearce will be on the breakfast show alongside the wonderful Law Woods and Ali McCoy. That's from 8 a.m. tomorrow, it says here. Next on Drive, we'll look back at another action-packed weekend in the EFL and Chris Wilder's sacking with talkSPORT commentator Ian Danner. Sports news, Kane Reeves will be giving us that in just a moment. First, with the news, Charlotte Fisher.
Thank you, Andy. The Chancellor has admitted today has been tough after U-turning on one of his tax cuts. But Kwasi Kwarteng has insisted there'll be no more distractions as he delivers a speech to the Conservative conference. He's addressing party members for the first time since abandoning a pledge to cut the top 45p rate of tax. Elsewhere, the families of the 125 victims killed in a crush at a football stadium in Indonesia will receive just under £3,000 in compensation from the government. 32 children were among those who died at Arema FC Stadium over the weekend. It's the second most deadly stadium disaster in history. And a provisional trial date has been set for March next year for a 34-year-old charged with the murder of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell in Liverpool. Thomas Cashman appeared in court for the second time today and has been remanded in custody.
talkSPORT. Sports headlines with Bostik. If you need a professional-grade sealant with high mold resistance, easy tooling and minimal shrinkage, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Brendan Rodgers says he doesn't fear the sack even if Leicester lose tonight's game against Nottingham Forest, live here on talkSPORT, though Rodgers has admitted he hasn't actually received official backing from the club's owner. talkSPORT understands Rob Edwards is the leading contender to replace Chris Wilder at Middlesbrough. Wilder was sacked this morning. Edwards also recently suffered the same fate at Watford. And India fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out of the T20 World Cup with a back stress fracture. The tournament starts in 13 days in Australia. A reminder to join us tonight, Leicester against Nottingham Forest, build up from 6 p.m, live here on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT proudly presents the football results. Like you've never heard them before. Add extra sizzle to your Saturday with talkSPORT Classifieds. Football results that are first, fast and fizzy.
Full-time Classifieds.
The only place on the radio you'll hear Classifieds done like they should be. Properly. talkSPORT Classifieds. Loud, live and larger than ever. Saturday afternoons from 5 on talkSPORT 1 BBC Nil. talkSPORT. Powered by fans. I say.
This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein Darren Bent alongside. We have problems with our phone lines at the moment, so if you want to have your say on national radio, text in 1889 your phone number and we'll call you back. All right, just put a brief message of what you want to talk about. Apologies. Nothing to do with me. Noel Gallagher will be joining us in the next hour to talk all things Man City. Can't wait for that. In the meantime, it's time now for this.
Paddy's Performers on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Reviewing the top ballers, performers and goal scorers from the latest footballing action. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, time now for Paddy's Performers in association with Drive's official betting partner, Paddy Power. Today we're looking back at the action from the weekend and nominating the players we think made a difference and were Paddy's Performers. You go first, because I just feel uneasy saying what I'm going to say.
Yes, I had to go for Leandro Trossard. What a performance. The first player to score a hat-trick at Anfield since Andre Arshavin in 2009. Brilliant. The goals that he's scored, and he's got off to an electric start this season. Been fantastic. I think the most goals he's ever got in any campaign, I think the biggest is 8. He's already on 5 now. But he's playing really, really well. Belgium international, 4th year at Brighton. The hat-trick that he scored as well. His finishing is lovely. He's
nearly going to come off for the third, before the third, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
it was, yeah. But, I mean, he's finishing the first couple where he just smashes it with his weaker foot. Well, I assume that's his weaker foot. Across the goalkeeper. Really talented player. Really has kind of blossomed under Graham Potter. I know he's no longer with him, but he is a top lad, by the way. And listen, I don't want to sell Brighton's players, but it would not surprise me if Graham goes knocking on that Brighton door to try and get him, because I think he's a top draw performer.
They could have been like 3 or 4-0 up early, Brighton, in that game.
But again, how often have we sat here though and said about if Brighton has a centre forward that can finish?
We've said that a million times.
But clearly, whatever they do, the way that they play, they don't want a natural goal scorer that takes all the limelight. They want to share it about, and we've seen Gross play really well this season. Trossard's played really well. They've got Mwepu, who I really like,
and they're doing it with the team that doesn't have a Basuma or a Cucurella as well.
Incredible.
Okay, you've picked Trossard out. Brighton against Spurs. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals is 6-5. Brighton to win is 17-10. 17-10. The draw is 23-10. So I had to pick out a player, right? Now you've picked out Trossard. So someone has to talk about Man City. So unbelievably, that I'm picking out. Well, I was going to pick Erling Haaland, and I thought you can't pick Haaland and not Foden, who scored a hat trick. But then I can't pick Foden but not Haaland. And I can't pick either of those two and not put Kevin De Bruyne in. So this is horrific for me to do. I'm actually going to change the rules. I'm going to pick Man City. The whole Man City side.
Wow.
And I feel awful doing that. But they're just... it's unfair to pick one, right?
No.
I can't pick Haaland and leave Foden out.
I would have picked Haaland because he scored 3 and had 2 assists.
I know, but Foden
was brilliant.
Foden's a genius.
He's class.
But then you've got Kevin De Bruyne. I just can't. Anyway, let me tell you some little stats here, right? So Haaland to score a hat-trick against FC Copenhagen is just 4-1. Haaland to score 40 or more goals in the English Premier League this season, this is ridiculous, it's just 13-10. Haaland to score 7 or more hat-tricks in the Premier League, so far he's got 3. The record is 6. It's 11-4.
The record's 6?
Yeah.
I thought the record was 5.
6 current single-season record, it says here.
Okay, I thought it was 5.
Who got that, Shearer?
I thought Shearer got it 5. I thought it was 5. But
Well, either way, for him to get 7, he's just 11-4. So basically, the bookies are saying he's fancied to beat every single record. That's just madness, isn't it?
Yeah, the Premier League, and it's not surprised me yesterday with Pep, was that the game was done, and he kept him on. He took everyone else off, but left him on. And I went, "Oh,
what's the record?
32.
That's Salah, but 33 in a 40-game season, right?
No, the record's 32. Salah in 38 games.
No, I know, but when it was 40 games,
yeah,
I think Shearer and someone else
didn't
got it.
Andy Cole get like 36?
Here you go. I think Shearer and Cole share the. But I think all records are going to go, irrelevant how many games they play.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. That's Paddy's performance for this week. Catch up with the latest odds at paddypower.com. 18+. Only. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy's Performers on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Reviewing the top ballers, performers and goal scorers from the latest footballing action. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Now, lots happening in the EFL. Let's speak to our EFL expert, correspondent, the wonderful Ian Danner joins us. Dan, good afternoon.
Hello, how are you, chaps?
We're good, we're very well. There's only one, but before we talk about teams winning and losing, we should talk about managers that are no longer there. You were on Friday's show with us. We talked about Hull sacking their manager.
Yep.
And then Middlesbrough sacked Chris Wilder. That was today, wasn't it? It all rolls into one.
This
I
morning,
know
yes.
what I just said, Ryan. Yeah, okay.
No, it was this morning. I know it's also the number
sacking, no, it's a difficult word for me to say, right?
Well, it's all semantics. He's gone, isn't it? And it was first thing this morning. He didn't even last a year in the job, Chris Wilder, and that's probably the biggest surprise of all for me, for a guy who, before he left Sheffield United, had never been sacked as a manager, now has lasted less than a year at Middlesbrough. With only 18 wins out of 45 in charge, and the team he picked on Saturday for the defeat at Coventry was a bit odd, in that Jones and Giles, who play sort of wide right and left, he'd left both of them on the bench, and Riley McGree on the bench as well. I don't know. It seemed almost as though that team selection he put in was almost like cutting off his nose to spite his face. And he said some things about Victor Gyökeres, who scored the winner for Coventry at the end of that game, that seemed to suggest he's a guy I wanted in the summer, and the club didn't back me. So clearly there was something going on there between Chris Wilder and the Middlesbrough board, and there you go. It's all come to a head this morning, and he's gone.
Do you think it's a case of dance that the players maybe weren't playing for him? Because when you look at some of the results, they've only won 2 this season. That was against Sunderland and Swansea. But then you look at, as you said there, the team selection, some of the performances that some of the players that obviously he's picked have put in. Do you think there was a fallout there as well, maybe in the dressing room?
Well, you can always look at that as a potential, Darren. I've not seen Middlesbrough live this season yet, so it would be unfair for me to say they're not playing for him, but I've not watched them. The team's not essentially all that different to the team that did pretty well last year and, was within touching distance of the playoffs. You've still got Dijksteel and Fry at the back. You've still got Alex Mowat in midfield and Matt Crooks, Duncan Watmore up front. But, I did find that not selecting Isaiah Jones or Ryan Giles a little odd for the game on Saturday. And Marcus Force on the bench as well. He seems to have a goal in him, I think, anyway. But it's yet another championship club in a state of flux. And how many championship clubs are like that at the moment? The answer is quite a few.
Let's talk about your side. We've got so much to get through. My goodness, what result that was. Top of the table, Sheffield United won, Birmingham won.
Good goal from Deeney as well.
Excellent, and it's his first goal for ages. You'll be so happy with that, Troy. But it's not been about his goals lately. His performances up front, leading the line, have been outstanding. So he's earned that goal. He's deserved that goal that he got. And his first touch to set him up for that equaliser was fantastic. Great limbs in the away end as well. Love that. Love a bit of limbs in the away end when a goal goes in. But yeah, very creditable result for Birmingham. That's 4 without defeat for John Eustace, who's playing a lot of teenagers out of necessity rather than out of choice. I think the teenagers in our squad have had more championship minutes than any other club this season. You look at Jordan James, who's just got a call up for the Welsh squad. Job Bellingham, Jude's kid brother. Hannibal, that we've spoken about before, Andrew, from your club on loan, Manchester United. So yeah, it's a more than creditable result. And actually, Birmingham are at Middlesbrough this week, whilst they have an interim manager. They go up to the Riverside on Wednesday, I think it is.
And Dance, we spoke to you on Friday, and obviously Hull sacked their manager, shot at Avaladze on Friday as well, and they got beat 2-0. Are they any closer to appointing a manager? Well, obviously that job's now available. Middlesbrough's available.
Well, I've not heard anything concrete, although one managerial departure interested me. Carlos Carvajal's been coaching out in the Middle East, in the UAE, I think, and left his post late last week. I don't know whether I'm putting 2 and 2 together and making 5 with that one. But I haven't... the odds that I saw on Friday evening, you probably saw them as well, Darren. So there are at least 3 Turkish managers in the top 4.
Yeah.
Including Fatih Terim, who's a legendary Turkish manager. He's been in charge of Galatasaray about 10 times and been in charge of the Turkish national team. And, of course, that's a natural way for the club to go, given, the Turkish ownership that's there at the MKM now. So I guess all bets are off there, Darren, because if that's the way the odds are going, then maybe we shouldn't be thinking, down the lens of just managers who know what the championship's all about. We should be looking outside that, maybe.
Dan, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on. We're out of time, but we'll speak to you, I'm guessing, at the end of this week for more EFL chat. Thanks, Dance.
Hello.
There you go. And what a shame, Bentley, we didn't have a chance to talk about Ipswich. What a shame.
1-3-2.
Yeah, but
watch that game.
We didn't have a shame, is what I'm saying. Didn't have time to get it.
Marcus Harness, great finish.
When we come back, we'll be talking a bit of Aston Villa. I wonder how many fans are happy with Gerrard or not, want him out. Here's the thing. You can have your say on Astro Radio by texting in your phone number, not phoning up, because the lines don't work at the moment. But text in now, Villa fans, your phone number. We'll call you back and you can talk about your club. Do that now and you'll be next. 03717 223344. Don't dial that. Text in 81089. You'll be next on Drive on talkSPORT.
Wednesday evening, Champions League Live on talkSPORT 2. He's popped up with an absolute belter of a goal. Leipzig versus Celtic.
Coverage from 5. Kick-off 5:45.
Wednesday evening on talkSPORT 2.
No one else brings you more.
And he smashed it into the top corner. Football fantastic. talkSPORT 2.
This is Drive on talkSPORT with Andy Goldstein Darren Bent alongside a Motorpoint. Find unbeatable price cars and vans all under warranty. We'll speak Villa in just a moment. But just quickly, all-time great Roy Jones Jr. said that Chris Eubank Jr. shouldn't underestimate Conor Benn ahead of their historic fight at the O2 this weekend. In the world of tennis, top seed Novak Djokovic claimed his first title since winning Wimbledon in July with a dominant display against Marin Cilic at the Tel Aviv Open. And following Aston Villa's 0-0 draw away at Leeds yesterday, Villa boss Steven Gerrard said he thought his side deserved to win the game.
Well, listen, we were the better team. You know, even 11v11, we were the one who were creating the better moments within the game. We knew if we defended well, we would get chances against Leeds. That was the case. We created enough chances. I think we had 19 attempts on goal, which is our best so far. 12 inside the area. So I think one or two of us will go home extremely frustrated today that we haven't won the game.
Let's talk Aston Villa now. I was looking at social media. Not that that's really a gauge, but you can, you know.
You get a fair grip of it, though.
Sometimes you do. But either way, Villa fans may be questioning whether or not Steven Gerrard's the right man to take them forward. What's your view on what he's doing at the club and where they're at the moment?
You have to say he's had a bit of a struggle, certainly this season. I mean, he's lost 4 this season. Lost to Bournemouth opening day. That was a really bad result. Then got battered by Crystal Palace 3-1. Lost 1-0 to West Ham at home and then 2-1 to Arsenal. That's no disgrace. But I just don't think there's Aston Villa fans right now are loving what they're seeing, you'd have to say. I think he's at the minute struggling to I won't say adapt, but he doesn't know his best starting 11. I mean, the game yesterday, the front three went with Bailey, Watkins and Coutinho. Again, when they beat Southampton 1-0, it was Bailey, Watkins, Coutinho again. So I thought, okay, maybe he's onto something. Before that, it was Bailey, Watkins, Ramsey. Then we've had Bailey, Watkins, Buendia. I think the form of Ollie Watkins is a little bit alarming as well, because you talk about a guy who 11 last season, 14 the season before. He's only got 1 goal this season, and you can quite clearly see, anyone who watched the Leeds game, he had some chances, like big chances, where he just looks like he's lacking in confidence. And to be fair to him, what he does do, Ollie Watkins, he will work extremely hard for the team, which is probably why he's being preferred to Ings. He'll run in behind. He's big, he's strong, he can hold the ball up. He creates chances for opportunity. He'll run himself sometimes into a position where he knows he's got no chance from scoring, but that will just create space for somebody else. But unfortunately, against Leeds, all the big chances fell to him at the weekend. Like the majority of the chances, one came off the post.
What does that do to his chances of getting in the World Cup?
I don't think he's got any chance now.
Do you not?
No, I mean, he's got 1 goal this season. He's up against Ivan Toney, who's playing incredibly well.
Can't even get a go.
Well, you've got the England captain. He's never going to get ahead of him. No. Then you've got Tammy Abraham.
Did you just point to what would have been your captain's armband?
Yeah, the armband.
Okay.
He's got Tammy Abraham, who's playing really well for Roma. So I think right now his chances are 0 in going Rashford. The emergence of Rashford's form, he could play wide or down the middle. But his form just seems to have deserted him, and his eye for goals deserted him in this last period. So they need to get back to winning ways, back to basics.
I said that our phone lines haven't been working. You can't call in, but we can call you if you text in with your phone number, which is exactly what Ben, the Villa fan, has done. So Ben, thank you for that. How are you doing, Ben? You all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. See, it does work, everyone. It does work if we call you. Thanks for that, Ben. Go on, you're a Villa fan, so I suppose the obvious question is, what do you make of your manager at the moment?
It's one of those things, Andy. I think that we started the season okay, like not brilliant. At the start of the season, we played a couple of games that maybe, like, if you look at the standard of our squad and if football was played on paper, you'd think we'd win, but we didn't. But things are steadily improving. We spent 26 million on a centre half in summer, and he got injured in the second game. It's obviously an area of our team where I think if you looked at it in the summer, and I was saying to my friends, like, if we sign a centre half, we sign a CDM, and then play football next year, we've got the attacking talent to kind of get things moving. But we've lost Diego Carlos, and now we've lost Kamara as well for games. So it depends where we go from there. But I do think things are improving. The standard of signings that we're making, if in comparison to what we were under Dean Smith, they're massive.
Ben, let me ask you a question. We know that Ollie Watkins in front of goal is struggling. I think he's certainly against Leeds, he had a lot of chances. But a lot of names, I mean, I was speaking to an Aston Villa supporter at the weekend, and they said they want to see more of Cameron Archer. I mean, what do you think? Would you give him an opportunity?
I mean, Cameron Archer has looked class everywhere he's gone on loan in the Championship. And I was there when we were playing in the Championship. And when you're a Championship fan and you see a player that stands out as a level above, you just know. When we saw Grealish in the Championship, exactly one of those things. And from what I've seen on Twitter with like all the Preston North End fans when Cameron Archer was playing for them, they were saying he was just that level above. They loved Cameron Archer. And you've just got to sit there and think maybe he deserves a chance. But, you know, Danny Ings isn't even getting a start at the moment, and he's about, you know, the plus side of 15 goals in a season before in the Premier League, and, you know, Gerrard's not starting him. So there's got to be something there with Ollie Watkins. He gives you the work rate every single game, whether he's scoring goals or not. And, yeah, it's one of those things. Cameron Archer maybe, but realistically, is he a starter for Villa at the moment? If you really want to push on, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe another loan move for him and just try and get a bit more minutes and get him a bit proven somewhere else.
Okay, and just finally, with your manager, you're happy to stick with Gerrard for the time being, Ben, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
I don't think, if you look at the level of manager you could improve him with, they're just names that aren't going to come to Villa.
Okay, all right, Ben, thanks for that.
Archer's 20, though. So that's not young now.
No, it's not. It's not.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. Someone that's also ready to go is Notan Dan, who's in the studio.
I am indeed, yeah.
Was it a point gained or 2 points lost at the weekend?
I'd say a point gained, actually.
Would you?
Given the way the game went, yeah.
Right, do you think Gary O'Neill should get the job full time?
Yeah.
Give him the job.
Doing well, isn't he?
Give him the job. We like Gary O'Neill. You're in the studio because in a moment we're going to do today's joke of the day.
Yeah.
It's a Monday, first day back at work. People got Monday blues.
Yeah.
Is it a good one? You're going to cheer
it's a
people
good
up?
one.
Yeah?
It's a good one.
You
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
Does it involve a bit of acting?
No, it's never acting.
No, it's the real stories.
Yeah.
Okay, time for today's joke of the day.
So, I was on the way into work this morning. It was an absolute nightmare, right? Some fella ran up to me, attacked me with cheese, milk, butter, cream. I was like, how dare he?
That's it.
That pause was just too long, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was Felix Magath when he started.
Why? Felix Magath with the
With
cheese.
the cheese. I thought it was Felix coming.
Good work, Notan Dan. I say good work. I don't mean that as an awful joke. When we come back, just an hour left of the show. Oh, I feel terrible. Not only for me, you've got to stay on, Bentley. We'll be talking North London, which is definitely red at the moment. And Noel Gallagher, rock and roll superstar Noel Gallagher joins us. Lots coming up between now and 6 on Drive. Stay with us.
talkSPORT.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. On your mobile and on your smart speaker.
talkSPORT.
Official broadcaster of FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022.
talkSPORT.
Get this, everyone. Get this. The phone lines are working. Hooray! Yeah, and we've talked about Man United, so we're going to talk about Man City.
We're going to talk about now, though.
We're going to talk about Arsenal and Spurs. So if you want to have your say on all things North London, 03717223344. I think Arsenal were great, Spurs were awful. They had chances. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a moment. Also, in the next hour, Noel Gallagher, rock and roll superstar Noel Gallagher, joins us live to talk about Man City. Can't wait for that. And, of course, we finish in just under an hour's time because we hand over to Adrian Durham, who will bring you live commentary from the King Power Stadium tonight. Leicester take on Nottingham Forest. That's live commentary on talkSPORT. Kick-off for 8, and, of course, the Sports Bar takes your calls from 10. 03717223344. In case you forgot, the phone lines are now working. It's all coming up after the Sporting Set with Kane Reeves. First with the news, Charlotte Fisher.
Thank you, Andy. The Chancellor admits his mini-budget has caused a little turbulence.
And Rodgers confident of owners' support.
talkSPORT.
The Chancellor's admitted today has been tough after his tax cut U-turn, but Kwasi Kwarteng has insisted there'll be no more distractions as he addressed the Conservative conference.
I know the plan put forward only 10 days ago has caused a little turbulence. I get it. We are listening and have listened.
He was addressing party members for the first time since abandoning a pledge to cut the top 45p rate of tax. Following his U-turn, the pound has strengthened, rising by more than 1% against the dollar. That roughly returns the pound to its level before the tax-cutting mini-budget. In other news, Amnesty International has told talkSPORT tear gas should only be used by police as a last resort after 125 people were killed in a crush at a football stadium in Indonesia. Officers used it at the ground of Arema FC after fans invaded the pitch, which triggered the crowd to panic. Narina Safitri works for the charity in Indonesia and says lessons need to be learnt.
Tear gas should also never be fired in confined spaces. A stadium in a confined space, if you refer to FIFA stadium safety guidelines, for example, it prohibits the carrying, like the crowd-controlled gas.
Each family of the 125 victims have been offered just under £3,000 for their loss. And a provisional trial date has been set for a 34-year-old charged with the murder of Olivia Pratt-Corbell in Liverpool. Thomas Cashman appeared at Liverpool Crown Court this afternoon, also charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. 9-year-old Olivia was shot dead in her home in the city in August.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we are here for every journey. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Cloudy with sunny spells in the south this evening, overcast further north with rain affecting parts of Scotland and perhaps Northern Ireland.
talkSPORT Sports Update with EE. Get whistle-to-whistle match streaming all over your house with EE's full fibre broadband, powered by BT.
Brendan Rodgers says he has no concerns of the sack ahead of Leicester's game against Nottingham Forest, live on talkSPORT tonight.
The ownership trust me and they expect that I'll turn it around, and if they don't, they will tell me. Our conversations are very open and honest, and we communicate well. I've seen Top a number of times, and we speak when he's over. So, but I've had nothing but support from the club.
Leicester are yet to win a game this season. There are also suggestions that Steve Cooper will be under pressure if Nottingham Forest suffer a 5th defeat in a row tonight. But defender Nico Williams says it's understandable that the team have yet to find their rhythm.
We think Cristiano Ronaldo in this moment is on top of his confidence level, and I would say he was for ages best player in the world, and now he's not going its way, and it's not exactly the same. That happens to all of us.
That was Jurgen Klopp talking about Liverpool's confidence issues ahead of their game against Rangers in the Champions League tomorrow night. Alessia Russo has withdrawn from the England women's squad due to injury. She'll miss Friday's match against the USA and Tuesday's game against the Czech Republic. And talks for Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury appear to be breaking down, with Eddie Hearn saying they won't play games with Fury. Joshua's promoter believes the fight won't be confirmed for the date of December the 3rd, saying as far as we're concerned, the fight is off. A reminder to join us for live commentary tonight. Leicester against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Kick-off is at 8 p.m.
On DAB, on AM, on the app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT Drive. Discuss, debate, deliver. Driven, dedicated, daily, loud, alive. talkSPORT Drive.
Welcome back to our number 2 of Drive Time on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, alongside me, of course, former Spurs striker. That's Spurs striker, Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
It's Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
I just said that, still to come on the show. We're going to build up to game night as Forest take on Leicester at the King Power Stadium, live on talkSPORT. And in this hour, we'll be joined by a rock and roll superstar that is Noel Gallagher. But now, what do we think of Tottenham? Now, but...
And so it begins towards Richarlison, who feathers it goalward, and it's a brilliant save by Ramsdale. Down low to his right to flick the ball wide. Now Thomas Partey swings the ball in towards the near post and scores a brilliant goal from range into the corner of the net. Xhaka almost gives it back to Richarlison. He goes down. Penalty kick is going to be given for Tottenham, and Gabriel, trying to react, has handed Tottenham Hotspur a penalty. Kane breathes out, steps up, right-footed, and sends it right down the middle and equalises for Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Jesus down the right, into the box, lovely little body swerve, gets some space, shoots, comes back off the goalkeeper, and Ødegaard can't react. Lloris did quickly. Into the penalty area, a left-footed drive, it comes out towards Jesus after being spilt by Lloris, and Jesus pushes the ball beyond the goalkeeper. Oh, it's a red card. Anthony Taylor comes rushing across, delivers a straight red card to Emerson Royal. Martinelli's got the ball on the edge of the box once again. He's laid it off to Xhaka. Xhaka to finish it. Xhaka does finish it in some style. That is the sound of North London turning red. It's finished Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1.
That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. How long was that? That was like the whole match we just played there. North London is where we go next, and the phone lines work. 03717223344. Go on.
No, just you heard my prediction.
Yeah, well done, firstly. You did say
that's how you get.
And I went, Benny, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's me doing an impression of me.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? You done it, and it was 3-1. So well, I commend you on that.
Thank you very much.
But that was more you as an Arsenal fan going, "Oh, we'll beat them."
No, because remember,
the red card changed it.
I remember his name, Ross. He called up on Friday.
But the red
card didn't change it. No,
well, hold on. The last 15 minutes of the first half, it was Spurs.
And we came out second half with a better side.
I know. But they did have a man sent off, rightly so, in my opinion, right or wrong?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And 10 men against 11 does always change a football match. Always. I'm not saying Spurs would have won.
Of course, because
they weren't at the races. Yeah. Things weren't right for Spurs. Son's final ball was awful. Spurs were off the pace. You would have won it.
But when you saw Antonio Conte make the change that he did, when he started taking off Son and Richarlison and all these, I thought he was going to park the bus here. He's got no intention of winning the game now. Just wants to park the bus. But no, fair play. Arsenal came out, played really well, got themselves in front. Then the penalty, which I thought was a penalty, a lot of people thought,
did they?
I thought it was a penalty.
It's definitely penalty, yeah.
I thought Gabriel went to ground, but Arsenal reacted really well, got the result, and again, you could put that to bed because a lot of people are trying to say that whenever Arsenal come up against teams that are kind of in there, that top 6, they don't win. Well, they beat, obviously, Tottenham, lost to United, but I thought they were well worthy of the victory.
Yeah.
With a better side, some really, really good performances. I thought Gabriel Jesus led the line again. What about his run? When he dribbled in between the defenders and hit the shot.
You love a sound effect.
He was brilliant. I thought Saliba at the minute, he is playing like his potential, I'm not quite sure where he could go.
Well, you and I picked him out on game day 1, didn't we?
Yeah, he was brilliant. The fact Ødegaard's back, Partey makes a big difference. When he's not there for Arsenal...
Wow, what a strike that was.
Do you know what, though? He's one of them, and I think the stat was
normally,
64 times he's shot, and that was the first time he scored. Every time he goes to shoot, I shout, "Don't shoot!" And that was another one.
Can I ask, this is going to sound silly because it was an amazing shot. When you have that shot, when the ball's rolled across in front of you and you hit it with the sort of instep of your... Is that not an easier shot to make? But is that a sort of natural thing to happen to the ball? Is that how difficult or easy?
Well, it's always easy to hit a ball that's rolling towards you.
Right.
So then you pick and choose where you want to put it. And where he put it, obviously, was just open out his body, but put it back into that near corner. A lot of people, Bextor was one of the best at it. He'd reverse it, wouldn't he? Yeah. Reverse it into that far corner. But from Thomas Partey to produce that goal on that occasion, I thought his performance was brilliant. But also, it's building blocks. When they lost to Manchester United, a lot of people said that would be the time they fall off a cliff. That would be them now. They'd go to Brentford, they'd get beat, and that would be Arsenal spiraling out of control. They reacted really well to beating Brentford 3-0. Really good result. Then another test against Tottenham, North London derby. Spurs unbeaten all season in the league. That is 3-1. Really good result, and it's onwards and upwards for Arsenal.
Top 4, I think, without a doubt now.
Has to be.
No other team, they were saying on Match of the Day 2 last night, no other team has got to 20 points at this stage and not made Champions League football.
But this is the thing. Last season, when they finished 5th, and people tried to say that they underachieved, they finished 8th the season before. And I always said top 6 or get back into Europe was a positive. But because they were so close to top 4, a lot of people said they failed. Now where they are, if they don't finish inside the top 4, from where they are right now, that's failure.
Are they favourites in your mind? They are in mine, by the way, for this question. Are they favourites in your mind for second?
Right now, yeah, you'd have to say.
I think so.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Because at the moment,
even though they're ahead of Manchester City are coming.
Oh, yeah.
You
can't write
they're the best team.
By miles, yeah.
And by the time they play Liverpool, if they were to get a result again against Liverpool.
Who, Arsenal, on Sunday?
They're 14 points ahead of Liverpool. 14. That's never been heard of.
A quick word on Spurs. Right, because as I say, that final ball let them down. They had a few opportunities.
Didn't play well.
Richarlison, he could have given Spurs the lead quite early on. Didn't play well. Son had so many opportunities to put fellow players in as well. Hugo Lloris, we have to talk about him. I've never been a fan of Hugo Lloris. I always think he's got that in him.
That Rick in him, yeah. I remember seeing that in the World Cup back in 2018.
Oh, with the foot thing.
Rolled under his foot, he made mistakes. And if you can remember rightly, and listen, I don't wish injury upon anybody, but do you remember when he got injured against Brighton?
When he fell into the goal.
He kind of fell into the goal and landed on his elbow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I thought that was...
Why have you mentioned that?
That would have been one... It's a Rick. They scored from that.
Oh, yeah, but that's a freak injury, right?
As I said, I don't wish it on anyone. But he, rather than parry it over the bar, he patted it down.
Right. Oh, okay.
I think that's one area that Spurs would probably look at, Conte, goalkeeper. Because I do think that's an area where...
Give me a player that they could replace him with.
Well, if you want to go young, I mean, you've got Pickford. He's at Everton. If they can get him out of Everton. Dean Henderson, I know, is on loan from United, but... You know, I mean, these are goalkeepers that are out there that maybe potentially are available.
Because we've seen what happened when Pep came in. He wasn't a fan of Joe Hart. Got rid of him. Got Bravo. Didn't work.
Got rid of him.
So that's how important that goalkeeper role is.
And if Conte wants to play out from the back with his feet, Lloris is not the best with his feet. But listen, it's a blip in the road for Tottenham. I'm sure they'll bounce back. They've got games coming up, difficult games, but they've got players in their squad that can turn it on at any given moment. So, you don't need to hit the panic button. But for Arsenal, massive 3 points.
The phone lines, they're working now, so we'll go to them in just a moment. 03717223344. Obviously, I want to hear from Arsenal fans about how far you can go this season. But Spurs fans, what do you think they make of the manager, Antonio Conte? Are they happy with him?
Yeah, they still love him.
Yeah,
but I said at the weekend, right? He went to the Arsenal game. He didn't try to win the game. He tried to steal the game. He tried to steal the points. He tried to steal all 3 points by playing this kind of pragmatic, stodgy football. Not great to look at, but it's effective. And sometimes these type of performances and results happen, and that makes everyone go, well, tactically that weren't great. But that's what he went to the Emirates to do, was to kind of stifle Arsenal and steal the 3 points.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
What did he get wrong, do you think? Do you think the red card changed the game?
I think Arsenal were in the ascendancy anyway, but when you're down to 10 men versus 11, of course, Arsenal got the extra man. And with the inverted fullbacks as well coming in, overloading that midfield, that made it really difficult for Spurs to kind of get any kind of foothold in the game, other than when you said the last 15 minutes of the first half. But yeah, no, listen, I don't think Spurs fans will be questioning Antonio Conte one bit.
The gap between Spurs and Liverpool, you mentioned the gap between Arsenal and Spurs and Liverpool is, I think, 7 points. Hold on, 10 and 17, yeah, 7 points. Are Spurs nailed on for top 4?
I think Spurs will get top 4, yeah.
You do?
I do, yeah.
So in your mind, it's Man City, Arsenal, Spurs and one other?
Yeah. And
it won't be Brighton, will it?
No, I think that one other could be United or Chelsea.
Yeah.
Where are Chelsea?
Chelsea are 5th at the moment.
Yeah, see them.
But again, I mean, they were really fortunate at the weekend. We'll talk about them a bit later on.
I think Brighton will finish top 6, you know. 100%.
Yeah, they're looking good.
I'm happy for their manager, De Zerbi. Everyone's tried to slag him off.
Have they?
Yeah, people.
Why? Why are they slagging him off?
Because he doesn't know the league and all this
paper.
It's
silly to say that. We've seen so many managers come over. Exactly. I mean, Arsene Wenger didn't know the league, did he?
All this stupid stuff. Yeah, and he's come over and I know it's only one game, but to go to Liverpool and get a point.
Yeah. What that would do for him, okay, and his confidence. Listen, we'll take calls from Arsenal and Spurs and football fans in a moment. 03717.
Who's your top 4?
223344. Man City. Not in this order, but Man City will win it. Man City, Arsenal. Yeah, I'll go Man City, Arsenal, Spurs and United. I will, what?
I knew you would put United in there.
Well, I think... listen, Graham Potter's got to prove it to me, right? I don't think they're the Chelsea that everyone thinks they are, so I think they're struggling. Liverpool, I don't think we'll get in it now.
So where will Liverpool finish?
Outside the top 4. I think Liverpool would probably get top 10. We'll take calls in a moment. 22334. Ryan, our producer today, is a Liverpool fan. They'll stay up, Ryan, I promise you. Keep your calls coming in. Next up, Danny Simpson will be joining us as well from the King Power Stadium ahead of game night. That one's live on talkSPORT. So that and your calls when we come back, 03717223344. And in 10 minutes' time, Noel Gallagher will also be joining us. What's coming up between now and 6 on Drive on talkSPORT?
Traffic and travel on talkSPORT with Swidted Van Insurance. Looking to insure your van? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get a quote today. Swidted Van Insurance.
In Kent, the M20 is still shut London bound after a fuel spillage. It's closed from Maidstone at junction 6 along to Aylesford at junction 5. In Warwickshire, the M40 southbound has been shut. That's after a collision involving a car and a lorry between junction 16 at Henley in Arden and junction 15 for Warwick. And in Hampshire, the M27 westbound. That's partly blocked by a broken down vehicle just before junction 4 for the M3. I'm Adam Moore.
Wednesday night, Champions League live on talkSPORT.
High intensity, expressive football.
He's falling it high into the roof of the net.
Chelsea versus AC Milan.
Coverage from 7, kick-off 8 p.m.
Wednesday night
on talkSPORT.
Night goals coming.
It's a sensational goal!
talkSPORT.
This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein Darren Bent, alongside a Motorpoint. Find unbeatable price cars and vans, all under warranty. We've got the phone lines in a moment. Just quickly in the world of boxing, Eddie Earner's now declared that Tyson Fury against AJ is off as far as they're concerned because they have not heard back from Fury's team. And Arsenal will face 8-time winners and current holders Lyon in the Women's Champions League group stage. Noel Gallagher joins us in 10 minutes' time between now and then.
Superstar.
You can either watch Bentley dance live on YouTube or you can listen to us talk to some very happy Arsenal and unhappy Spurs fans. 03717 223344. Morris is first up. Hello, Morris. Oh, we spoke to you last week, didn't we, Morris? Oh. There you go. Welcome to Clips of the Week.
Working, are they?
Jed is. Yes, hope they are working. Jed is up next. Hello, Jed.
How you doing, boys? You alright?
We're good. Very well. How are you?
Good, mate. Buzzing with the weekend. Great result.
Great result.
What were your expectations before the game started? Honestly, hand on heart, Jed.
Honestly, it's the first time in a while that I've been confident going into a game like this. Usually, because what we've been like the last few seasons, we just make stupid mistakes. And even in this game we did, that's what I was impressed with. We gave the penalty away. We go in 1-1, and a season or two ago, we go on to lose the game, but we come back out with the same intensity that we've been playing with, and we get a couple of goals and we win it. So, yeah, buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, Jed, the reaction, as you said, after the penalty, yeah, I think Spurs probably ended the first half the better side, but Arsenal came out with a different intensity. But what I want to ask you about is the performance again of William Saliba. I mean, how good is he turning? What kind of player is he turning into?
Mate, he's so good, and again, he just brings so much confidence to the back line. And him, Zinchenko and Jesus have just brought a different mentality that has just brought so much confidence.
I thought you were going to say more. Is that it, Jed?
That was it, mate.
Where do you think Arsenal will finish this season? They won't win it, will they?
No, they won't win it. No.
Where do you think?
Or third. Yeah. I'm hoping second or third.
Yeah, okay. I think you'll get. Thanks for your call, Joe. I think
second or third.
The way, listen, it's so early. Right, only 8 games you play, but the way you're playing,
but you'd rather be where you are now than.
Oh yeah. It's who,
it's who
get
the points on the board now.
Yeah, it's who comes second to City, right?
Exactly.
Adam's a Spurs fan. Hello, Adam.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
To be honest, not very surprised that we lost the game. To be fair.
Why?
I mean, we haven't come out of the games every game this season. We haven't come out of the traps all guns blazing, have we?
No, you haven't.
We've always been on the back foot. We've always been trying to play on the counter. So I wasn't really surprised. I was hoping we might have got a draw out of the game rather than a loss.
Adam, what do you want to see Conte change then?
I think he needs to fill out the midfield a bit more. I mean, we know we've got 3 very good defenders. The wing backs, I think Perisic was under pressure. He hasn't got the pace. Royale, as we know, he totally let the team down, and maybe we should give the wing backs a little bit more opportunity. I mean, Sessegnon, Jed Spence. Why isn't Jed Spence playing?
I was going to ask you about that.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think the reason is...
He's hungry.
The reason is...
Why not give him a run out?
The reason is, I'm guessing, Adam, maybe Bentley can tell us a bit more about this. I'm guessing he's not Antonio Conte signing.
Doesn't sound like it, because you're right. You look at Emerson Royale. I think when you look at the Spurs defensively, he always seems to be the liability, the weak link of that back line. And the fact you've brought Jed Spence in, who was brilliant for Nottingham Forest, was one of their key components of them getting promoted last season. The fact you bring him in and he just doesn't start, and even Conte's... He said a couple of comments, and I'll find them and I'll read them out. But even that, I thought, that's a bit surprising. And you're right, with Royale acting up the way he does, I thought Spencer would have been given an opportunity.
Perisic been a bit underwhelmed by him?
I won't say he's been underwhelming, but he is a serial winner. He's played in some of the biggest games that there is. But what is he, 33, 34? So the Premier League's like no other beast. So I think he's done okay, but I would have thought Spence would have been given a little bit more time, and I like Sessegnon as well.
Okay. Keep the calls coming in, 03717 223344. Let's speak to Abdul, is an Arsenal fan. Hello, Abdul.
All right, boys, how you doing?
Yeah, we're good, man. Off you go.
Yeah, not too bad. Listen, I genuinely believe that yesterday was a win for football.
Was what? Sorry?
I genuinely believe.
I'll tell you, it's not a great line.
I think he's got his radio on.
Yeah, let's. Can you speak to Abdul off air, and we'll go back to him in just a moment. While that's happening, actually, a reminder: following us at 7 is game night with Adrian Durham, as Leicester, of course, host Nottingham Forest. It's live on talkSPORT. The Sports Bar will be taking your calls from 10 p.m. Waiting for us now outside the ground is former Leicester defender and title winner Danny Simpson. Hello, Danny. How are you?
Hey, boys. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good.
You know we're live now.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Dan,
right,
listen, listen, it's a massive night for both sides, actually. I asked Benty earlier on, I didn't know if this is a silly question. I said, is it too early in the season for this to be a 6-pointer? But it is, right?
No, of course it's a 6-pointer. Obviously, we know Leicester and their record, and obviously not winning at the moment, and Forest as well. I think they've lost the last 4. I think there's 3 points between them, so of course it's a 6-pointer. And listen, I think it's a bigger game for Leicester than it is Forest, and obviously with it being a derby as well, there's a lot going on for this game tonight.
Dan, has it surprised you about where Leicester are currently at the minute? There's obviously rock bottom of the Premier League, but you look at the squad that they've got, the players, and even the manager. What do you think's gone wrong there this season?
Oh, Benty, I'm very surprised. Listen, you go for that team. Maddison. James Maddison's he's been class this season. Youri Tielemans, Ndidi, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy. You can go for it. Johnny Evans at the back, who's the new captain. And Brendan, for me, I think he's a top coach, top manager. So for me, I think I don't actually know what's going wrong. Is it some personnel have left? Obviously, Casper's left, which is a big loss on the pitch and off the pitch. And obviously, he didn't get any signings in really. So sometimes you need fresh faces to boost the squad and boost the chances for the season after to keep going.
Do you think it's important that Brendan stays, or do you think this could be the turning point? Because as you said, one's obviously 19th, one's 20th. I mean, Nottingham Forest have lost their last, I think, 4 or 5 on the spin. Do you think if Leicester were to lose, and listen, you know the club, you've played at the football club, do you think this could be the end of Brendan?
Listen, I hope not. Listen, if you lose 7 games, it's difficult, isn't it? But the club know what kind of a man Brendan is, what kind of coach he is, and what he has done for the club. And I know I've had fans, I've been on before, and the fans are calling for his head. But obviously, for me, you got to stick with him. You look at these players; they've got to turn it around. I think you look at the next 4 or 5 fixtures. No offence to the other teams, but they can go on a good run now. I know you said if they lose tonight, but there's still 3 or 4 games after that where they can go and pick up a lot of points.
Go on then, I'll push you what the score be tonight, Dan.
I think Leicester are going to win tonight 2-0.
Okay. Dan, you're a star, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, you going to elaborate?
Right, cheers, guys.
Oh, no, he's gone. Okay, there's a bit of a delay. I think he just wants to get out of there as quick as possible. Let's hope the Leicester City players don't want to get out of there as quick as possible. A reminder, game night follows us at 6. Adrian Durham builds up to live commentary of Leicester against Nottingham Forest. Sports Bar takes your calls, of course, on the back of it from 10 p.m, but much more to come from us between now and then. When we come back, big Man City fan, of course, and rock and roll superstar Noel Gallagher So drive on talkSPORT, me, Andy Goldstein Darren Bent alongside. Straight after us at 6, Adrian Durham brings you live Premier League action. On game night as Leicester host Nottingham Forest in the East Midlands Derby Sports Bar. We'll be, of course, taking your calls on the back of it from 10 p.m. That's Jason Cundy and Dean Saunders. And Forest legend Stuart Pearce will be reflecting on the game. He'll be on the breakfast show with Laura and Ali. That's tomorrow from 6 a.m. Next on Drive, we're joined by Noel Gallagher, of course, looking back at that awful game yesterday. Kane Reeves gives us sport news in a moment, first with the new Charlotte Fisher.
Thank you, Andy. The Chancellor has vowed there'll be no more distractions as he admits it's been a tough day following his tax cut U-turn. Kwasi Kwarteng has addressed party members for the first time since abandoning a pledge to cut the 45p top rate of tax. The families of those killed at a crash at a football stadium in Indonesia will receive the equivalent of just under £3,000 from the country's government. But Amnesty International in Indonesia has told talkSPORT the families need justice, not money. And a 36-year-old man has died after collapsing less than 3 miles from the end of the London Marathon. Organisers say he received immediate treatment, with an ambulance arriving in just 3 minutes, but he later died in hospital.
talkSPORT. Sports headlines with Bostik. If you're looking for a professional-grade sealant that offers technologically advanced performance, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Brendan Rodgers says he's confident he still has the backing of the Leicester owner, despite admitting he hasn't officially received it. Leicester are without a win heading into tonight's game against Nottingham Forest, live on talkSPORT. Alessia Rousseau has withdrawn from the England women's squad for their games against the USA and the Czech Republic. It's because of a small injury. No replacement will be called up. And India fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out of the T20 World Cup with a back stress fracture. The tournament starts in 13 days in Australia.
Award-winning radio.
talkSPORT Breakfast.
Weekday mornings from 6.
On talkSPORT.
Brutally brilliant breakfast.
Featuring Laura Woods.
He's all right to comment on your Instagram, but he's not all right to turn up for work.
Ali McCoy.
Well, you've thrown me off my lane, you man.
And Alan Brazil.
Sorry, but I am the voice of the people.
Get a stadium-sized portion every day. Come on, guys.
Let's pull it together.
talkSPORT Breakfast.
Weekday mornings from 6.
On talkSPORT.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent alongside. Time now to look back at yesterday's... well, we don't have to talk football. We can talk about... I can't believe,
Yesterday's
1995.
smashing.
What's the story morning it was released? Let's talk about that. Let's say hello and good afternoon to rock and roll superstar Noel Gallagher joins us. Hello, Noel.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, should we just talk music? Should we just talk about what's the story? 1995 it was released on this very day.
I can't believe we give you 3 goals.
Love it.
I think it's hang on a minute. It's an embarrassment. 70 minutes of that game will live long in the memory. And then 6-1, it was how you got another 2 goals they've had a
but you know what, right? It doesn't feel like a 6-3. It feels like a 6-0, if I'm being honest. Those 3 goals are totally irrelevant to me.
Well, 6-1's probably the score, but then he took 3 or 4 players off, and then it kind of all fell apart. But it was some day. Someday.
Although we did win the second half, so as halves go, it was 1-1.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you hold on to that.
That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Listen, there are so many things we can talk to you about, but I suppose we have to talk about Erling Haaland because he just gets better and better and better. He's just an absolute monster. Do you think anyone can stop him this season?
I think I obviously listen to talkSPORT every day. You hear a lot. How do you stop him? I don't think you stop him. I think you have to stop De Bruyne, or you have to stop the ball getting to him, because we've seen the goals that he scored already. Some of them are scarcely believable. The one against Dortmund and his second one against United, where no other striker in the world even attempts that. So I don't think you do stop him. But we're watching something that is scarcely believable here. To think that he's 9 goals short of last year's Golden Boot title, and there's 30 games left. It's a joke.
Do you not know it is a joke? I mean, he's been incredible. But you would have seen Aguero when he first came, and I think he got 2 on his debut, and I think he never stopped scoring to the moment he left. Are you seeing, not comparisons because we've never seen anything like this, but do you expect Erling Haaland to kind of go down that same road, that prolific kind of goal scorer like Sergio was?
Well, I always think that your debut is a good snapshot of how your career is going to go at a club. And I mean, when Sergio came and he scored 2 goals his day, was like, well, this guy's the real deal. But it was a completely different team. But Haaland, if he stays fit, and he's still in the settling in period, according to the experts at your radio station. So, I mean, by another 6 weeks, I mean, it'll be good that the World Cup comes along for everybody else, I would have thought. But this guy, I mean, he's done it already all over Europe. He's done it in the Bundesliga and wherever else he's been. But you can't see him going 3 games without scoring.
No.
You know what I mean? You cannot see it.
And also, you mentioned the World Cup there, and a few people have sort of said that when he was playing his football in Germany, he picked up a few knocks here and there, and he was out for a few games. But he's effectively got a month off over Christmas, so he'll come back. I mean, this sounds frightening, but he'll come back even sharper in the new year.
I would have thought, though, that Dortmund ran him into the ground. I would have thought he was rushed back from injury and he played every single game and he played every minute of every game. I think City are a bit more wise to that. Where, I mean, I was surprised he stayed on yesterday after the 6th because I'd have thought he'd gone straight off. But I don't think City will run him into the ground like Dortmund would. So you're only worried about kind of impact injuries, but that Dortmund team. Those Dortmund teams do tend to get a lot of muscle injuries like the Liverpool team. So it must be something in the culture of that football club that Klopp's brought to Liverpool. So I don't see that as being a problem. I mean, you're just running out of things to say about him. I was trying to explain to somebody yesterday, and you've only got numbers to describe it. The numbers are ridiculous. And that's it. And then, when if you haven't seen him live yet, Have either of you seen him yet, Darren?
Yeah, I've seen him live.
I'm not. It's watching his movement is something else. It's really, even when he doesn't get the ball, he resets and he goes again and he resets. You've never seen him throw his arms in the air. I mean, he is beyond the real deal.
I mean, no, he's been absolutely fantastic. But I mean, listen, one of your own, Phil Foden. I mean, how good has he been? And I think the scary thing is that he looks like he's getting better.
Well, I would just like to say that. Those 3 or 4 years ago where every pundit and writer in the country was saying he has to go on loan. He has to go on loan. Why is he not going on loan? And Pep said he ain't going anyway, staying with me. And we're gonna. This is now why he never went on loan, because that kid his goals yesterday were far out. And I mean, he's now first choice at 22, 50 goals for City. I mean, again, his numbers are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Yeah. He will go on to be our most decorated player without a shadow of a doubt.
Why do you think, Noel, we don't see the Phil Foden that we see in a City shirt and an England shirt?
Because City are better than England.
I know that, but do you think he's not being played in his natural position?
Look, we've all grown up watching England and wondered why that golden generation didn't win anything and all the rest of it. It's because, the best English players, when they're surrounded by the best players from the rest of the world, they thrive. There's something, there's something about when you put 11 German players together, they're going to win it or they're going to get to the final. There's something when you put 11 Englishmen together, they just come up short. I don't know what it is. None of us know what it is. If you knew what it is, you'd sell it to the FA and make a million, you'd be a billionaire. But you kind of, when you put, it's like 11 Italians, 11 Germans against, it's just, I don't know what it is. None of us do. But I think in the case of Foden, he's kind of England. I hate the way that everybody overanalyzes England. It's all about tracking back and this, that, and the other. Once you've got De Bruyne in your team and Bernardo Silva's like 3 players anyway, so you can kind of get away with a lot with Silva. So I think he's just freer in a better team.
You said that, I mean, I'm a big Phil Foden fan, and someone who's come under a little bit of criticism, harshly, in my opinion, is Jack Grealish. But the last couple of performances, I thought he's really started to turn a corner. I mean, what did you make of his performance yesterday?
I thought he's great. From the first minute he got Delo booked, that was him done. But look, you'll know better than us, Darren, but we're fans of football, right? And I don't know how it all works. I just go to the matches and enjoy them. If the greatest manager of our generation, Guardiola, keeps picking him, that's enough for me. Yeah. I couldn't, the guy that bought him, Cheeky, has bought all these other players. If he sees something in him and Pep keeps picking him, who are we to argue about this? And of course, Jack gets judged on other things, having a drink and England and all that kind of thing. But that's the name of the game for them, But if Pep Guardiola is picking him every week, he's starting him in the derby. I mean, come on, that's enough for me.
No, what's more important to you as a City fan? Is it the Premier League or the Champions League?
Well, it's always the Premier League, always. But I think now is the first season that I have been like, okay, this is it now. While this lad is here, while Kevin De Bruyne is at his peak, while Bernardo Silva is still here because he could have walked out the door in the summer, this is it now. I think most City fans have turned their attention to the Champions League, and we want that now, just to sit everybody down for a bit, and then I think the league will take care of itself. I don't think it'll be a one-horse race. I think with 6-7 games to go, I mean, we may have wrapped it up, but I don't see it. But
why? Why don't you see it? Who do you think is going to challenge?
Well, Arsenal not showing any signs of. Arsenal look good. They've got. We gave them Jesus and Zinchenko.
Thank you.
Mate. Listen, the two bargains of the summer right there. Jesus is a brilliant player, but he had to get sacrificed for Haaland. Zinchenko is an amazing player. He pulled us out of the fire the last day of the season. And adding those two things to the Arsenal team, I mean, they're looking great. But I don't think we'll run away with it as much as people think. I don't think it'd be done by March. But if I could choose one, I'd choose both.
Okay. You mentioned Bernardo Silva. I want to get your views on another Silva, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne. We've been talking about who. Listen, he's worshipped David Silva. Understandably, some people say he's your greatest ever player. In your opinion, who's the better?
I mean,
because that ball that Kevin De Bruyne sort of bent, the pass wasn't even on when it left his boot. I mean, it's a crazy ball.
It's ridiculous. That guy is ridiculous. You can't split him. It's like saying who's best, Lennon and McCartney. You can't. They're equally as talented. Dave used to run the game in not as talented a side. Dave came when we were nothing, and he changed the way that the club played football. So David Silva will be forever, lauded by City fans. But De Bruyne is getting a statue. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah. Did you go yesterday, no?
I didn't know because the train strike messed it all up. We used to go from the Saturday night and all that with the kids, but it messed it up, so we had to sit and watch it on the telly. Oh. And it's the first one I've watched on TV for a while, and you'd rather be in the ground. But I'd say a big shout out to a friend of mine who called me from Belfast and asked me could I get him into the ground because he was going to fly over because he had a feeling United were going to win. So I got him a ticket off a friend of mine for the princely sum of £500, right? Because it was sold out. And I'd just like to say, I hope you had a great day, right? And you can come again whenever you like. My guess.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm sure he's over the moon with that money well spent. Yeah. I thought the reason you were going to say you didn't go is because you found out your seat was next to Ruben Diaz's dad.
Oh no! Well, I was up there recently. I hadn't seen Diaz since the day his dad nearly decapitated me. But
did you honestly have stitches?
I did, yeah. Oh yeah, I got bashed up. Have you not seen the?
I know, I saw it. I just didn't know if you really did have stitches or not.
Yeah, I was getting stitches while they were parading the trophy around the pitch.
Who was stitching you up? The club doctor?
Yeah, the St John's ambulance. It was. And one of the guys who's kind of got the things out, and he's saying, "Can you sit?" And he's going, I went to school with you, and I was like, "Now we're going to do this now," And but yeah, Diaz's dad is well, if you ever see him, you'll realise how a little fella like me got wiped out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you got away with one actually, if he's that big. Listen, a real pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on. Always good to speak to you. Relevant of the score 1-1, of course, on halves. We didn't even talk about the goal of the game, Anthony. We'll do that next time. Thanks for coming on, pal. We'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye.
Cheers, Noel.
There you go, the wonderful Noel Gallagher. The pictures of him with all the blood coming out of his face is, yeah, not good. And actual stitches as well. When we come back, oh my goodness, just like 10, 12 minutes left of the show. Then I've got to leave you here. I've got to go home.
I've got to fly the plane.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to get home and then watch the last hour of the show on my telly on YouTube. So I'll see you at work.
I like you supporting me like
Well,
that. We're a team, right?
Yeah.
So I like that.
We'll talk when we come back. We'll talk about all the other bits and pieces from the weekend's football.
Driven to the limit. Power steering. talkSPORT.
Leave behind the workday blues. Game day. This Saturday, exclusive kick-by-kick commentary of Manchester City versus Southampton.
Coverage from 2:30, kick-off 3 p.m.
on talkSPORT 2.
Only about 7 or 8 minutes left of the show. Then I go home. Bentley stays on for another hour, but I go home. And then, of course, we've got live commentary of Leicester against Nottingham Forest. Sports Bar takes your calls from 10. Before that, it's time for a brand new feature on Drive.
Who's your favourite cowboy?
Yeehaw!
Bang, bang.
Howdy, partner. It's time for the good, the bad, and the bendy.
I'm telling you now, Einstein had big guns.
Don't get in the fights. Just stay away from them.
Yeehaw!
It's like a whole bag of gubbins that you just pour out every time. I like it, though. Yeah, this is the good, the bad, and the benty, where we've taken a trip west on our horses. Not really. Ready for battle with some of the good, the bad, guys in the Premier League this weekend. So let's get into it, Benny. Newcastle and Almiron ease past Fulham. Did Eddie Howe save his job with this 4-0 win, do you think?
I wouldn't say to save his job. I think he was more than comfortable. I couldn't even believe he was having this discussion.
No, nor could I. Is that what people were genuinely talking about? Eddie Howe could get the bullet?
Yeah, it was crazy. No chance. But no, really good performance. I mean, the 10 men, of course, helps. But the goal from Almiron, oh my goodness. When I saw it, I went, what is going on there? What's he done there? The first of all, the 1-2 from Almiron. But the way the ball drops over his shoulders, it's like you should hit it with your right foot. But he somehow gets his left foot up and like, it's like Van Basten-esque.
And a bit Di Canio as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, weird. But what a finish. I mean, he's somebody that a lot of people have poked fun at over the years since he got to Newcastle. I think at one stage, he was their record signing. He might even be still the record signing, but no, he was. I remember at one stage he was. But he always gives you 110%. He works incredibly hard. Always puts a shift in. But that goal there, and he got 2 at the weekend, but that first goal, whew, what a goal.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Wow, we've spent all the money on sound effects, have we? That was the good. The bad, Liverpool dropping points with a 3-3 draw at home to Brighton. Were they lucky to nick a point, do you think? Because at the end of that game, I thought Liverpool were going to nick it.
Yeah, well, that's what you'd expect Liverpool to do, because Liverpool, they seem to just keep going and going. They're relentless, aren't they? But for whatever reason this season, defensively not been great.
What do you do with Trent?
It's a tough one.
You know what? Sorry. People have been going like a little bit too bonkers with Harry Maguire. I sort of feel the same's going to happen with Trent now. He's going to get a little bit silly with his criticism.
But I don't think that necessarily he's making individual mistakes. I think his positioning at times hasn't been good enough, and a lot of goals seem to be going down that left, the opposition's left hand side, Liverpool's right hand side. So question marks will be raised about him. But we've said it, no denying he's him going forward. Brilliant.
Will he play tomorrow in the Champions League?
Oh, I don't know, but then who replaces him?
Exactly.
Milner?
You've got to. Why would you drop him? You've got to play him.
Yeah, to stick with. But Jurgen, there's no way to find it. Jurgen Klopp can come out of what he did by defending him and then dropping him. You can't do that. What is going on now?
Look at their little happy faces, and they're like, "Oh, we pressed the sound effect button." So that was the bad. Let's go back to the good. Scamacca scoring again for West Ham as they beat Wolves 2-0. I mean, to quote Darren Bent, oh my goodness.
What a goal.
It was a goal, wasn't it? That was a hell of a goal.
What a goal. And he's someone, to be fair, who he has impressed me since he's been there. I mean, I know he's played a lot of games in the Europa Conference, but when called upon, he has scored goals. I mean, that finish there at the weekend, outside of his boot, I know it took a slight nick off the defender's head, but I think he's somebody now, he needs to be given a run of games. Do you know what I mean? He definitely needs to be given a run of games. Scored a lot of goals last season for Sassuolo. And I think he'd be looking to get himself into the team. We know Antonio's their first pick, but I think it's time now to give Scamacca a go. I agree. And I think he'll score goals.
Excuse me. That was today's The Good, The Bad and The Benty. Don't go anywhere, because up next we'll be handing over to Adrian Durham for game night, where, of course, we are building up to live commentary of Leicester City against Nottingham Forest on talkSPORT.